Hello, Karen Lynn here. For those of you that have worked with me, you know that one of the aspects of the way that I work is to connect to my clients' guardian angels. I talk to my own guardian angels all the time. I work with archangels. And at the moment, I am especially working with Archangel Michael, whose energy is really strong in my life right now. And what I wanted to do was a series of videos where I literally just connect with Archangel Michael and ask him for guidance for different things. So, going through divorce. What is general guidance for people going through divorce? The grieving process. There's so many people that have lost somebody at the moment. So what I thought I would do was just ask Michael to share some thoughts with us. I've got my favorite cards. You've probably seen this pack before. So as I'm starting to talk to you, Michael, you with me? Yeah. I'm going to start just touching the cards. That's how I do this. Where's the first card? I don't know how many cards Michael is going to give me, although I have asked him that I don't want this video to be too long. So we'll just see how it goes. There's card number 2. This is, I have no idea what he will say. Whatever comes up, so whatever, when I start to touch these cards, whatever feelings I get, whatever words or visions I get, that's what I'll share with you. And if you found your way to this video, then I would say that there is a message in here for you. These things don't happen by coincidence. Gosh, Michael, there are a lot of cards here. I'm hoping that some of these cards are connected because I've got 6 cards already intended for this video to be short. But I guess asking Michael for guidance for anybody going through divorce is a pretty big. Oh no, please, Michael, is that number 7? It's a pretty big topic. So yeah, if this gets longer, so be it. Okay, I'm just going to move the cards over to one side. I will hold each card up as we start to work with it. I've got 7 cards. I have to talk fast. Okay, let's see what the first card is. Okay, here's the first card. The first card is the She-Wolf. Unleash the wild within. Gosh, I'm sure we could interpret this quite a few ways if you're going through a divorce right now. I'm going to put the card down on the desk and just put my hand on it. Again, I apologize. I have a habit of looking to my left when I start to connect. That might look a bit rude from your point of view. I'm not trying to ignore you. It's just the easiest way for me to connect. Okay. Yeah, straight away I get lots of anxiety, huge amounts of anxiety. I can feel it all in my solar plexus. I think Michael's just pointing out that angst of it all. Like it's so easy to get lost in this fear of what's to come, fear of the process that you're going through, sadness at the fact that a relationship's come to an end. Oh yeah, huge. As soon as I say those words, my stomach crunches. Huge sadness for the fact that a relationship's come to an end. And he says he'll come back to that in a minute. He's putting me tears. Yeah, lots of tears. He is putting me in that situation where you are in the process and it's yucky and it doesn't feel good. It feels really horrible, actually. The anxiety in my stomach is just off the scale right now. He's reminding me to breathe. Okay, right. He's saying to me, This is a process that you cannot be a passive passenger on. You cannot allow other people to carry you through this. I know you feel that maybe feel that you're not strong enough to do this, but you are. And it's really important that the first thing you understand is that you have to be in the driving seat of your part of this process. For some of you, he's saying, that might be very difficult because it might be the first time you've ever done that. It might be the first time that you have ever really stepped up and taken the reins to your own life. And whilst that might feel, oh yeah, show me, it is huge. He's showing me a huge step in front of me. It's like I feel like this size, and the step's just huge, huge, huge. That I can't just jump up the step. And so when you start to get in this process and the emotions are taken over and it feels like other people are telling you what you can or cannot do, it's easy to get lost in the whole process. And what he's saying is, you cannot be a passenger here. You just cannot be a passenger here. If you want to come out of this feeling stronger, if you want to come out of this, how do I say that? Not with the most stuff as such, but with getting what is rightly yours, then no matter how decent or kind your ex was when you were married to him, because sometimes when a relationship falls to pieces, it's not that anybody in the relationship is a bad person in any sense. It's just that the relationship has gone its course and you've grown apart. And so some of you might think, well, this is, still, this guy is, or this person is still a nice person. And Michael is saying that actually, if you don't make a stance, if you don't take a stand, you will be taken advantage of. And he doesn't think that's right, but it's the process, and it is the process. So you have to start to find your inner strength. And that might be a challenge, but it is also part of the gift in this process. Okay, Michael, can I go on to the next card here? Okay, sorry, I've got 6 cards here and I just have to put my hand over the top to see which is the next card. Okay, and the next card is the Fire Guardian. So about igniting your passions. These cards really are beautiful. Let's get this going with just putting my hand on the card, igniting your passions. This is a strong card. Gosh, I feel the energy flow through this straight away. Actually, as soon as I put my hand on this card, I feel really hot. Michael's saying it doesn't feel to you like you will find your passion in the midst of such a challenging situation. But ironically, it's just these sorts of situations that that show us in a big way what really matters to us, gosh, values. He's saying it's about knowing what your values are. It's about knowing what's important to you. It's about understanding that dividing your furniture exactly 50-50 is neither here nor there. That isn't what's important in the overall scheme of things. What's important is that you accept that nobody wins in this situation. if you shift your mind into what means something to you, what is important to you, it's like really, yeah, he's saying this is a time, and it follows on from the last card. This is a time when you dig deep, when you start to look at what's important to you. And you can't become passionate about it until you know what that is. And this process of looking inwards without sadness, he's saying, that's not easy, I know. This process of looking inwards, you find your inner strength by actually reconnecting with who you are. And often when we're in a relationship, good or bad, actually, it's easy to lose who we are. I know that relationships compromise to a certain extent, but he said, as human beings, we have got into the habit of, thinking that compromising ourselves in a relationship is a good thing. But it's not. He said it's not. There might be a compromise as to, little things. If you've got children, who runs the kids here? Who runs the kids there? Those are compromises. But actually, who you are, he said, there cannot be a compromise with who you are. And yet, as human beings, that is exactly what we do. We even if it's not intentionally, we chip away at who we are, at little parts of us. We, think, well, we're busy now, we're in a relationship now, we're doing other things now, so I'll have to put that thing that I love doing just on the back burner for now. And the back burner can be a few weeks, a few months, and then it's a year, and then 1 year turns into another, and then before you know it, you've not done that thing for years. You've lost that little thing that makes you, that gives you a spark. And sadly, what you're saying is that we do that not just with one thing, but with so many things. And we're proud of the fact that we compromise. It doesn't want you to think that compromise is a bad thing, but it is if you're compromising who you are. Even in a relationship, if you are in a good relationship, you should be 100% yourself in front of your partner. No, nothing hidden. And I know from my own experience, my ex hated all this sort of stuff. Even if I had books on, spiritual development or connection to angels or any of that sort of stuff, he would hate that, wouldn't want it in the house. He'd get rid of the books. And I thought, oh, well, okay, I can just have one book at a time, and I can hide them, and I can read them when he's not there because he worked away a lot. Do you know what? That compromise part of me. And this is what Michael's saying right now. He said most human beings compromise huge chunks of themselves when they're in a relationship, and in a strange way, you're proud of doing it, he said. And Michael doesn't often say this because angels don't make things right or wrong, but actually he's saying that's wrong. It's so wrong to compromise who you are. You need to be with somebody that loves and accepts you for who you are, all of you, even if they don't agree with certain bits, or even if they don't like certain bits. And this is a time when you can reconnect with your own passions. Think about the things that you have let go of. What, when you were younger, what did you love to do? We all do it. It's not, this is not a judgment by Archangel Michael. It is an observation. I'm going to go on to the next card. Okay. And this card is, oh, I love this. It's the Great Teacher card, learn from spiritual experiences. Well, actually, yeah, even as I'm holding this, on the card it says spiritual experiences, but do you know what? Life is a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings, all of us. We are having spiritual experiences all the time. Whether we label it that way or not is up to us. And going through a divorce is, in a sense, a spiritual experience, because okay, Michael's saying that every relationship that we're in, especially one that's a romantic relationship, a relationship that's based on love, there is a soul contract there between your soul and your partner's soul. And okay, whether you like to think this or not, that soul contract was put into place before you ever chose to come to this earth in this body at this time. And when that relationship comes to the end, it's simply the end of the soul contract. And so there is teachings in that. There is teachings in every relationship. And because many of us didn't enjoy school, or didn't feel that we did well enough at school, or found it difficult to pass all the exams at school, we've associated teaching with something, maybe something difficult, or something that you've got to study, something that you're forced to do because you're forced to go to school, and the teachers are there in that place that you're forced to go to. And you might like one or two subjects, but maybe you don't like all the subjects, and so you have good experiences with teachers and bad. And we are associating that word teaching with school, with our experiences in education. But teaching is bigger than that. Teaching is learning by your own experience. Teaching is listening to others and then deciding what resonates with you. Teaching is about following your own curiosity and finding people that help you to how do I say that? To sort out your own thoughts and feelings, really. In a sense, through my life, my beliefs have changed as I've got older, as I've had more experiences, as different mentors have come into my life. Even now, there's always more to learn about myself. And Michael's saying that's the case for everybody. There's always more to learn, but it should be a joyful experience. Now, sometimes it's challenging, like this, as you're going through a divorce. But what he's saying is, if you can shift your perception to one of curiosity about who you choose to be, who is the woman that comes out of the divorce? Who is the woman that's learned to stand on her own 2 feet? Who is the woman that's learned to stand up for herself? Who is the woman that's learned to trust her own opinions and her own thoughts and her own intuition? We question all of that. Often we want validation from somebody else, but this period of your life is about honing that skill, that intuition about what feels right for you. And it can be a really wonderful journey in that sense. But you've got to start seeing as not, you deal with the grief of the loss of what's gone. But then this transition to get to this new chapter of your life when you're on your own, when you're in a, living as a single person, see that with curiosity. Maybe it's not going to be a bad experience. Maybe it's going to be a good experience. Maybe you're going to find out so much about yourself that will give you real confidence in who you are. Maybe a confidence that you've never had before. Get to the point where you really love who you are. Right, hold on. This one. The next card is, okay, wise one. Grow within your current situation. I think this is pretty much connected with the last card. So these two cards really do sit comfortably next to each other. I will just put my hand on this one and see if anything else comes up, but it does seem to be confirmation of what Michael's just been saying with the Great Teacher card. He's saying, you have no idea how much you can grow through this situation. You have no idea how much you could fall in love with you as you go through this situation. And he knows that sounds tough, but and perhaps unrealistic for you at this moment in time, but he wants to shift your perception a little bit about what divorce is about. He's saying you haven't failed. It's the end of a soul contract. And in actual fact, you've got many soul contracts in your life. As human beings, we decided that, the plan is to find one partner and stick with them. And in all honesty, many people in the past have stayed a lot longer than that soul contract was ever intended to be. But you learn from it. You learn from it. You grow from it. And there's joy in that. You start doing things as a single person that you never thought you could do. Absolutely never thought you could do. I can remember, Michael's just showing me the first time I put a picture up in my first house after I'd got divorced. I'd watched my ex do it so many times, drill a hole in the wall. And I was always the one with the dustbin pan thing. Dustpan, not dustbin pan, dustpan, collecting the dust as he did it. So I watched him do it so many times. And I'd even invested in a drill for myself. I thought, this can't be that hard. I bought a little thing to tell whether there was electric cables, behind the walls or water pipes, all that sort of stuff. And even with that, I think it took me best part of 2 hours to drill one hole. And it wasn't the drilling, it was the fear that I was going to go into a part of the wall that, there was something behind it that I didn't know. But oh my God, once I'd done it, got the raw plug in and the screw in or picture up and hung my picture up, the sense of satisfaction that I could use, me using a drill like that was not any great skill, but I was frightened of doing it. And it was such a simple thing. And I'd watched him do it for so many years. He would have put up all the pictures in the house in the time that it took me to put that one picture up. The sense of achievement that I could do it, and that I'd taught myself through my own fears to do it. And that's what Michael's saying here. It's almost like, okay, he's saying you can start a more grown-up conversation. Oh, okay, I'm interpreting that as grown-up conversation. You can start a more grown-up conversation with yourself. In that, and by grown-up, I mean not being the critic, being the cheerleader, really talking to yourself to give yourself the confidence to do new things that you've not done before, boosting your confidence by talking to yourself. So you can start to do that. You can start to have that more productive conversation with yourself internally. And it is a choice. It is a choice. And if you've not done this yet, you probably find that voice in your head is being very critical. And Michael's saying, stop it. Just stop it. You haven't failed. Yes, this part of your life, this chapter is coming to an end. And while you're doing that, it doesn't feel nice. But you can allow this to crush you, or you can allow yourself to grow through it. And when you grow through it, then the whole process can become, I'm sure you're not going to see it this way, but this is what it's saying, a beautiful process. Okay, we're going to move on to the next cards now. I've got 3 more to go. It is a bit, which one? They're all strong. Michael, be really clear which one. Okay. Just moving the cards around, folks, a little bit. I might put a picture of these cards up on my Facebook page, probably. Anyway, let's see how we go here. This is it. Next card is the Elder card, move beyond ancestral patterns. Okay. Actually, I'm starting to get that even as I'm just holding the card. A lot of our beliefs come from what we were taught as children. And a lot of our parents' beliefs and our teachers' beliefs came from what they were taught as children. It's like a commentary running through the generations. And, you know, when I was a child, the thing was that you found a partner for life. And that was it. And especially my mum died when I was little, so I don't know so much about my mum and dad's generation, but my grandma and granddad's generation, they stayed together. No matter how bad the relationship was, they stayed together. And that doesn't happen now. And Michael's saying, actually, that's a good thing. Now, if this goes against your religious beliefs, I'm really sorry. You take from this, which I'm not sorry for sharing it. What I'm saying is I don't want to offend you. You take from this what resonates with you and you ignore the rest. But this is what Michael's saying to me. That belief that partner, that relationship should last a whole lifetime. Human beings came up with that. And each generation has taught it to the next, and every generation, every person in a marriage and that's not been able to make it work, part of their feelings of failure is because of this belief that came to them from their parents, from their church leaders, from their teachers. And Michael's saying that's just not the case. The sadness when a relationship comes to the end would be if you hadn't learned anything about yourself from that relationship. Then, in a sense, that whole relationship, you were treading water. And you will get into another relationship very similar that brings up all the same sort of things that you've got to try and deal with. So, for instance, I was married to a narcissist for a long, long time. And I think the biggest lesson of that was to set my own boundaries. And I didn't. You know, I was a people pleaser. I wanted everybody to be happy. I compromised myself every step of the way so that my partner was happy. I lost me in the process. And one of the things I learned was, yes, you can be a nice person. I know people don't like the word nice, but I do. You know, nice to me is kind, compassionate, caring. Yes, you can be a nice person, but if you're a nice person, you haven't got any boundaries, it's going to be painful. And so what I learned, and it took me a long, long time to learn it, and I'm not sure I learned it until I really was, well, maybe even years after I got divorced from him. But I learned that I needed to set boundaries. I needed to say, you can't treat me that way. Yeah, and I think that has come through with, how do I say that? Yeah, we've picked up a lot of beliefs from our country, from our teachers, from our parents, from our religion, and we've held on to them as in this is something that should be upheld. And what Michael's saying is it's time to let go of those things. And if you have come through a relationship and it's come to an end and you've learned something from that and learned something about yourself, about who you are, about the sort of person that you want to be in the world, then that was good. He also does point out that, you know, if you've had children in a relationship, there's no way that you can say that relationship wasn't a successful relationship. You brought children into the world. And that's a blessing, he's saying. So a lot of what's going on now is breaking down those ancestral beliefs that just aren't, they're not serving us. They're just not serving us. Okay, I've got 2 more cards. The High Priest card, intend and create. I so love these cards. Sorry, yeah, okay, Michael. I'm going to put this one down for a minute. Michael's saying that we, the way we're intended to live our life is by creating our dreams, our goals, setting intentions of what we want to happen into our life, and really learning how to make those things happen, how to grow into the person that you need to be in order to do the things that you want to do. For everything, I don't like the word should. Okay. He's saying to make life smoother, to live it in a less intensely emotional way. What we want to do is learn how to set intentions with everything. So I don't know, every friendship, you meet somebody, you go to meet somebody, set an intention to how you want the afternoon or the evening to go. You're spending time with your children, set an intention as to what you want to get out of that. Do you want to build the relationship with your child? Spending time meditating. What's the intention for meditating? Just for me, it's like when you go to meetings or always set an intention. Just set an intention for how you want something to play out. You don't have to be, well, I guess you do have to be specific. But we've got out of the habit of setting intentions. We set goals, and then we have to think we have to work really, really hard to get to our goals. And the goals are often in alignment with what we've been taught is a successful life. Setting an intention can be, okay. The lady that runs my networking group, she always sets 3 intentions for every meeting, but one of those intentions is to have fun. So that can be one of your intentions, that you're going to enjoy whatever you're doing. If I'm going to a choir practice, that will be one of my intentions. And I think it's about getting into that habit of setting intentions. Now, with your divorce, what you want to do is set an intention that, well, you don't have to have this intention, okay? But intentions similar to this as to how you want it to play out, that you want, you want this to be as easy as possible. You want to come out of this so that everybody feels that they came out as well as they possibly could, so that everybody's feeling good at the end of it. I know that's a big ask, so that maybe so that you can sort out as much as possible with your ex yourself and not involve the solicitors too much. Maybe your intention is that you and your partner can always, no matter what else is going on, you can always talk calmly with each other about the children, and that you can always put a united front on in front of them. Setting intentions is big. So this is a time to learn how to set intentions and think about how you want this divorce to pan out. Now, what he's saying is you can't set an intention that says, I get everything I want and he gets nothing. That's not the way this works. You can't set an intention whereby you sort of win at the expense of somebody else. that doesn't work. It's not in alignment with the universal energy. But you can set an intention that, you know, you can all get through this with as much ease and as smoothly as you can. And that you can learn how to communicate with each other in a way that perhaps you've not done for years. You can set intentions like that. So this card really is the beginnings of, if you've not done it before and started to realize that you have more control over your life, this card is sort of saying, this is how you start to manifest, and you can learn it while you're going through this divorce process, to set the intention and hold that intention, you know. And if one of your intentions is that you always want to be able to talk calmly about your children to your partner, then if you feel yourself getting angry and you're not going to uphold that intention, then you say to your partner, I need to just stop this here. I'm going to go away and sort out my own feelings of anger here that, you know, are just rising up, and I'll come back. Because you have to, like Michael Jackson said, you've got to start with the man or the woman in the mirror. You have to be what you want to see. So if you want it to go smoothly, you've got to be part of that process. Okay. Yeah. This is the autumn card. It's about releasing the old and resting. Yeah, I don't even have to put this card down. Michael is reminding you that you do let go of a lot of things when you're going through a divorce. That is a good thing, a really good thing, but it's a lot in a relatively short period of time, and that can be exhausting. So he is saying, as much as he's encouraging you to do the internal work, he says it must be balanced with rest. If you are exhausted because you're going through a divorce, don't beat yourself up. Don't try and be superwoman. You can't be superwoman. You need time to rest. You need time when you literally just put your feet up and close your eyes and do nothing. If you can get times to have healing sessions, or times at a spa, or just times when you can relax and you don't have to think of anything or do anything, give yourself some of those times. If your thing is going out in nature, go and do that. But don't do that thing of, I've got to get through this, I need to get fitter, I need to do this, I need to do that, and make everything a challenge. That used to be me, to be honest. If I'm going to do it, then there's a challenge there. Can I do this? Can I? Your body, your mind need rest as you're going through this regularly. So you need a good night's sleep at night. And I know sometimes that's hard. He's saying you put things in place to help yourself do that. And if you feel tired during the day, you put your feet up, even if it's only for 20 minutes, and you don't feel guilty about it. So this is about being kinder to yourself, but also understanding you're going through a pretty tough process. There's lots of pluses. You will grow if you choose to. If you choose to do the internal work, you will grow, you will become stronger, you will start to like the person you are more. And if there's parts of you that you don't like, you will start to change them. And the woman that begins her new single life will be very different from the woman that was in the relationship. And hopefully, if you've done the work, then that woman that starts a single life will be somebody that you're proud of, somebody that you love. But all of that is an exhausting process. So intersperse all the internal work with time for rest. Okay. Archangel Michael, is there anything else? He is sending lots of love. He says he knows that this is a difficult time. He wants to remind you that you all have your own guardian angels with you. They are with you all the time. They can't help you unless you ask them for help. Archangel Michael can help you too. In fact, you can go to any of the archangels if you want to start to learn how to do that. there's so much you can do to get your angels to help you. And he's saying, we often don't turn to something that we can't see unless we're in a crisis. Faith, you know, in angels, in a universal life force, in God, however you want to see this, often happens when you're facing a crisis. Sadly, when life's hunky-dory and everything's going beautifully, we don't tend to question things. And so he's saying that if this resonates with you, if you love working with the angels, then, you know, have your own reading first, find out what your guardian angels are saying to you, and then start talking to them. Yeah, yeah. He just wants you to, he wants you to know the love of your angels. I every time I'm doing a reading for anybody, that's what I say. I say, I wish you could feel what I'm feeling. Even now, I am surrounded in love. Absolutely. It's like being wrapped up in it. And it's beautiful. So these are your cards for today. I can't hold all of them at once, so I didn't expect to do it this long. Those are the first four. You want to take a screenshot of them. And these are the last three. I hope that has helped. I could keep talking now, and I'm going to stop because I'm very conscious of the fact that this has gone on for longer than I expected, because I didn't expect to get that many cards. I will check in with Michael again, but I want to start doing these readings, these connections, conversations with Archangel Michael and maybe some of the other archangels, to see what guidance they've got as you're going through your divorce. And obviously when I'm doing this, it has to be quite general, but it is the overall picture. And if you fight your divorce, you make it harder on yourself. It is an opportunity to grow if you want to take that. And that is totally up to you. You do as much or as little as resonates with you. I have a passion of connecting to angels, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. If it is yours, then stick with me. And if you would love a reading and hear what your guardian angels want to say, then go to my website. It is on the screen here. Okay, I hope that's helped. Please do like the video and watch some of the other videos. They're not all angel based. There is, I'm starting to put up more and more videos of practical, simple steps. That's my thing, that we break everything down to simple steps. So there are lots of other videos going up on practical, simple steps of things that you can do to help yourself. Okay, have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time. Take care.